Shining bright lotus.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
Today is our lucky day. It's not every day that we get to initiate the next generation of how we're going to order this Rinzai Zen lineage. And today is the day. So, deep gratitude to Junpo for getting me on retreat September of 1999. And it has been quite a journey. And my lifelong commitment is to honor and respect this particular form. And we'll allow it to evolve all at the same time. Okay? I'm going to give you a little show and tell today, just to go back through and give you kind of some context so that you have a better understanding of where Dragon Heart Dharma is headed and the invitation that is open to each and every one of you. I'd like to start by saying a big hello to Chloe. I happen to love your father very much. Jonathan, you and I probably have stories to tell about this character. So we'll wait till lunch when we can talk again. But welcome. I think it's deeply meaningful that you would make the time to be here. And we'll look forward to our guests this afternoon as well. So my able assistant, my Angie here, is going to help keep track of time. So you all can just kind of sit back and relax. And let me tell you why I'm so willing and now able to move us into the next 20 to 25 years of a 2,600-year tradition that has stood the test of time. It's a fair amount of responsibility. You don't really want this thing to die out on your watch. So please, help. So I'd like to start with there were two things that really attracted me to hollow bones. One is this whole figure of a hollow bone. We had talked about that at a Mankind Project conference, that it was our time to create an advanced spiritual training. And for those of you who don't know, the Mankind Project essentially helps men initiate men through the passages of their lives. And in the process of that, it was groundbreaking in the late 80s to move the primary question that men were often asked, which was, so what do you do for a living? To, how do you actually feel? Well, feelings aren't facts. What's the matter how we feel? Well, you're right. Feelings may not be facts, but they point to the truth. Now, you can go ahead and live your life. Just you could be too smart for Zen. Most are. But we're much more interested about wisdom. Do you know the fitness of things? So from smart to wise. And we're glad you have passion, but do you have corresponding compassion? And we're not talking idiot compassion. We're talking no-nonsense compassion. Doesn't mean we don't have any less fun. because we do. And then because we have so much turmoil in this world that comes through religious beliefs, all in the name of religious beliefs. And when I heard that Atadipa for the first time, do not depend upon your beliefs, it woke me up. Like, what are you saying? I use my beliefs all the time. At the time, I was a whole brain learning consultant. Don't tell me that we don't use our beliefs. Well, of course you use your beliefs. The Buddha just said, don't depend on them. Well, why not? Because they arise and fall away. And Jupo had me at that morning service. He was so graceful when he would walk. He goes, Fu, it's a spiral. We're spiraling them in. Remember, spirals are a universal sign of growth and development. We're tightening the container. It's a transformative container. We're going to go into the silence. And guess what? In hundreds of millions of eons, most don't see this. We get the opportunity to do that. But if you get too smart, all those thoughts, all those beliefs are going to get in your way and you won't even get past your voice. You'll just be sticking up for the ego. Well, what's going to happen to your ego? Well, it's going to arise and fall away too. But that's not all of who you are. That's how we got the Mankind Project. Oh, great. I take a look at you guys, and you call yourselves New Warriors? Well, I sure hope we don't get attacked. I'm not seeing much with embodiment, and he was pretty candid about those things. He loved it. He loved to challenge us that way, and I'm forever grateful. But that morning service, and it was early, and it was by candlelight, and he was so elegant, and those bows, and let me tell you, when you got all these robes and stuff on, they're not easy. You got to be in shape to really do a proper bow. That's why when I went to 40 days and 40 nights to our root monastery, they told me to go clean out the dungeon. They heard that I was doing dragons. Oh, you want an animal that can see, that can actually see life. And they knew all about dragons. And then they had this boiler room, and it was a mess. They go, well, clean that out. And so I did. And they go, that was the best job we've ever had anyone clean something out. What are you going to do in it now? I had no idea, but I started my bowing practice over again, 111 every day. That'll get you in shape. You don't have to walk if you've done 111 bows. And that deepened the practice. And Jumpo happened to be the first Dharma heir of Edo Roshi. And I love to say to folks, I went to the root monastery at the strong feedback that I got last year about showing up as a Tonto. And you can get better at that, Fu. And so I went to learn. And I was just amazed. Those are our ancient roots. And they go, well, what do you want to learn? I said, well, I want to learn all the different forms. And they go, well, you got 3 years? I go, no, I got 40 days. And they go, well, you're going to have to pick and choose. So they gave me one of the tougher jobs, and it was nearly winter. One of the toughest jobs, tombstone cleaning. And part of Jumpo's ashes are buried there. So he and I had quite a deepening dialogue. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And it took the 3rd time before I finally got it. Remember, I was kind of Rishin and I were kind of the brainchild behind helping him with the development part of Mondo Zen. I was before, during, and after. He practiced a lot on me. And then we were able to help him write it up and get it edited and re-edited, and we went through that version many times. But the one thing that never changed was at the very end of the letter, on the first page, your angst becomes your liberation. Oh yeah? Until you go clean that tombstone for the third time and you realize, oh, it changed. Your angst is your liberation. And the tears just came. I'm like, Junpo, you did it. You freed yourself. I happen to know that that's worth teaching. Imagine what can happen in this world if we can just teach Atadipa. And we can follow in Junpo's footsteps. He wanted to do what the classical koan masters did for the mind. He wanted us to do for the emotions. And the Awakened One's vow was really meant to be the treatise for the Mankind Project. Could you actually move from a mission of service beyond yourself? Here's what my vision is. Here's the actions I'm going to take. To a deepening purpose. He constantly went back to deeper. And then he'd send me back to the Zinda. Deeper, deeper. Well, it was a deepening purpose. And that what he was getting at is, ask yourself a different question now. So who are you? Well, my driver's license says Thomas George Pittner, of course. I didn't ask you what your name was. I asked, who are you? And then we go back. Who are you anyway? And I'm used to being pretty smart. I had a good GPA all the way through grad school. He'd send me right back. No, who are you anyway at the core of your being? I am so much more than this bag of bones named Thomas George Pittner. And then because he and I had a Catholic tradition in common, we would laugh. He goes, oh God, you're born on All Saints' Day. Maybe you have a chance. And then Sanchi is born on All Saints' Day. So we have to hook up. We go celebrate our birthdays now together. She's 10 years ahead of me. Thank goodness. She's a wonderful mentor. And then the next question. This Awakened One's vow. How are you going to personalize that? And I've read this vow, I've memorized it, I've forgotten it, I memorize it again. Simha, you can fault me for a lot of things, but I have really done due diligence with the Awakened One's vow. So much so that when my wife and I were pregnant with our second, if it's going to be a boy, what are we going to name him? Well, you got Tom, and you've got Risa, R-Y-S-A. And she was like good with, let's combine them. Tori, T-O-R-Y. And then we had an argument about something that we both have forgotten about. And I went back to the Awakened One's vow, and there it was, Master Tori. And then the triangle came. You're going to see that this afternoon. We do koan practice in Rinzai Zen. The principle we practice is you got to include both sides of the paradox. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Bugger me. Can you transcend it? Well, you're not going to transcend it by not including both sides. Can you really listen to a different point of view? Oh, really? Are your beliefs really going to allow you to do that? Well, maybe. But I've read and reread this. But Tori was what, Master Tori was that third apex. That's why you'll see triangles in Rinzai Zen. The cultural anthropologists have taught us that triangles are universal symbols for dreams and visions and goals all around the world, indigenous to postmodern. You can count on. So, T-O-R-Y, Tori. And then our son Tori came, and he liked to get up early like I did. But he wouldn't go back to sleep. And then, oh, what is it? You go a little deeper into the sutra book, and there's a little chant. The Tara chant. Om Tara. Became Om Tori, Tu Tori, Tori, Swaha. Over and over and over again. And that would comfort him. And as most of you know, he has a passion for ice hockey. He's worked really hard at it. It's the second most expensive sport that children can do, behind equestrian riding. But people would always say, God, he's just so calm back there. He's skating backwards and he's a defensive guy and oh, how does he do it? And it's like, well, I know what he did as a baby. And I know that Tori is blessed with Om Tori. Now, he's not the least bit interested in that right now. He wouldn't even know. He'd accuse me of lying. Oh God, there's Dad again. He's embellishing something. I said, well, you know, why let the truth get in the way of a good story, you know? But I share all this with you because this, you'll often hear me say, 2,600 years of tradition, you can trust it. And the standard that we're going to set, and something that really Jumbo did not do very well at, and most Zen teachers haven't, at least in America. That guy and I figured it out pretty quickly. They don't come from education backgrounds. They don't really know how to teach very well. It's just dog training. See dog walk, walk. But Jumbo was wise enough to say, no, I really want you guys to get involved, let's use, and then he gave it to me in 2004. Here's your deepening purpose. Ancient Buddha, new way. And I've been learning lately to show these sorts of things so that I'm ready for Tori when he's ready. It's stamped. What's that say? Ancient Buddha, new way. Fugen, you're for future generations. I found out at the monastery that I've been pronouncing Fugen wrong. But I'm also reminded on this retreat that, oh, that's just bathwater. It's like we've been mispronouncing names from India to China to Japan to North America. You know, follow what sounds right to you. I'm like, great. I'm taking it all under advisement. But while I do that, I have completely worn out my first rakusu. But I want you to know that it's right here. All of this is this rakusu. He gave this to me first, and he made fun of me because he wanted to make a point to the Mankind Project guys. You're a little rough around the edges. Fugen, round out your game. And I did. And with his help, it only took a couple of years, not 20. Once I did that, he said, now it's going to take you 20. You might be worth civilizing. And of course, me being a quick study, I did it in 19 years and 3 months. That's the history that we're bringing forward. And now today, it's a blank page. And we get to co-create this with and for ourselves, for our loved ones, and for this world. So stay tuned. You're going to get 3 examples of koans at our ordination ceremony. But I want to leave you with this. I searched those archives. There was just so much missing. And why did it have to take 20 years? And I think together with Ingo and Ekai, give us 1,000 days. If we can't get it done in 1,000 days, given the way this world is right now, then I will happily find you the best Rinzai Zen teacher, wherever I can find him. I may pull a Junpo, though, and give you another 100 after that, just because the number 11 was my football jersey, and the standard that Junpo always gave is, you have to be 10 times as effective. You know, so it's like, okay, so 111, and then like 10, so 1,100. You give me 1,100 yoga sessions, and I'm pretty sure we could heal most anything. You give me 1,100 opportunities to do the morning service with you day in, day out. I'm confident that you will have an enlightening experience that you can also teach others. So the standard is we're going to do realization. That's going to cover our left side of our brain. Here's what we do, and here's how to do it impeccably. And here's who we are as we do it and why it's so important. That's the right side of the brain. That's intuitively. I'm here to tell you, Chloe, that going to law school, you're going to get a heavy dose of left brain training. Most graduate programs are designed that way. All right? And then when you get done and we have the great celebration, then you come here and we'll help get you healed up. Because we want you to know who you are as a lawyer and why you're practicing the kind of law you're doing, and what does it really matter anyway? Well, if you get to that deepening purpose, you won't work a day in your life. And if you don't, heaven help us all. You know? Okay. One final thing. How much?
The next one will be 2 minutes.
Okay, good. Oh, great. You put me on the spot. That's great. You know, I can do this in 2 minutes. What used to take me 2 hours of sitting, I can do it. You ready? Who are we as Dragonheart Dharma? Why are we here? Well, to deepen purpose. Okay, great. But what do you stand for anyway? Here's what we stand for. There's a little sign that cutting-edge brain research would find fault. Even here in the cabin they gave me, it says, don't forget your roots. And I understand why that really messes with the belief systems. So I'm going to share with you, here's what to remember your roots. Here's what we want you to do rather than what we don't want you to do. All right? So here's remember the roots. I, you, we, as breath-breathing human beings, are going to grow old. There's no way to escape growing old. I'm also here to tell you with great confidence that you will grow ill. There is no escape from you having ill health. It's also true that you are going to die. No way to escape dying. I'm also here to tell you that all the things you hold so dear, particularly with your friends and family and mentors and all that, all of those relationships, we are of the nature to change. They will change. Guarantee it. Just can't tell you when. And they're going to change in such a way that there's no escape from not being separated from them. And finally, what's that leave us? Well, your actions are your only true belongings. You cannot escape the consequences of your own actions. Go ahead, try. We'll be here when you want to come back. And what are we going to do? We're going to help serve and liberate. We're going to experience and enlighten. We're going to embody and master. The fourth one, however endless this true path may be, vow to awaken and follow. Well, for how long? How about forever? Sound good? Karma is that fifth one. And don't give me that argument that it's all about free choice. Especially those of you who are pretty sure that that's how it goes. You're free. Take responsibility for your life, for God's sake. Well, circumstances will come. They'll arise. It's not your fault. It's not who you are at the core. It is your ability to respond that's going to enhance the quality of your life. And together with the Buddha awakening, with the Dharma, our teachings, and with the Sangha, a community, we get to discover together how can we actually enhance the quality of our own lives and the quality of the people and processes that we serve. Okay, enough talk. Let's get back to the depth of silence. I look forward to being with you all for the ordination ceremony.
Shining bright lotus.